Larry Goldfield. I think the reason I may have been chosen for this honor is that I attended middle school, intermediate school for 3 years, and I had Larry Goldfield for math for 6 years. So it's appropriate that I start with a word problem. Figure that one out. And the answer to the word problem is, the answer is after school math. I came into middle school when we were doing independent study of math. It's great. The smart kids could plow ahead and move real quickly. I was not one of the smart kids, but I was lucky enough to get Mr. Goldfield for my math teacher. And so I had to stay after school every day with Larry Goldfield to move ahead. And I remember the first time that I ever heard him come into class. I was sitting in math. Math to me was like attending the dentist. And some kids were talking in the back of the room, and he walks up to the back of the room, and they're talking. They don't see this man with I think he had like a orange turtleneck, corduroy jacket, maybe a gold chain, black beard, walks up right up behind them and says, kids are chatting away, and he says, "Hey, it's party time." He never had to exercise discipline again in that class. Boom! And that's how we started math. What a great way to kick it off. Some memories of working with him, as I said, I was really lousy at math when I heard that Sally was going on a train 45 miles and Bill was on a bike going 8 miles an hour in the other direction. I was curious how Sally could afford it, and was the train going to hit the bike and all that sort of stuff. And Larry had to bring it down to earth for me, so he could always work, and I realized the man actually spoke in algebra. I learned this later when I learned what algebra was. But he would say, instead of saying multiplication, he would say multiplication, and have the students finish the sentence. One memory was when he was teaching in class. He had this great discipline with us because of the party timeline. And music came over the sound system. It was very odd. It was Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon. Father doesn't take care of his son. Son ignores his father. Now, most teachers would have been flustered. The class broke into laughter, and he just said, "Listen, listen. The song is about regret. Have no regret." Now, I don't remember what I had for lunch last week, but I can remember Mr. Goldfield's comments 35 years ago. 35 years ago, I can remember the things that he said in class, and I think of him every time I hear that song. And by the comments of his son, we know that he lived without regret, and he lived to that song. So, working with him through all those years, it finally comes to the end. You have to take a test to prove that all this after-school stuff paid off, right? And so I am so nervous about this test. Will I move ahead? Final year. And he's handing out the test, and he finally comes up to me and says, "Mr. Tafel, you better not get too close to me. We're going to kick you to Newtown with this score." Oh, geez, 3 years, I worked so hard. And he puts it on my desk. It was an A. He said, A minus. He said, "It should have been an A. It should have been an A." And that was the first time I got an A in math. And it was the tutoring of Larry Goldfield for those years. The math continued to be taught when I went to high school and met Peg Goldfield. I learned something about addition. When you take Larry Goldfield and you add it to Peg Goldfield, you get multiplication of the love that the two of those people had in their life. It was absolutely remarkable. So I think this really is a celebration of his life. There's no regrets. He has transformed my life, and in the weeks before this, and talking to people, everyone I talked to had a story, and that's thousands and thousands of young people. And what do we all want? We all want to have an impact in this life. Larry Goldfield had an impact. He lived without regrets, and that is the most amazing thing we can ask for. And I'm convinced that when he transitioned to the other side, when he went from physical to spiritual world, I think those who gathered around him, those he loved, the students, I can almost hear him saying, "It's party time."